How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got one here from Corgi in 1/72nd scale diecast. It is a British Aerospace Sea Harrier, and this particular model is XZ450, and it is in Royal Navy markings. XZ450 would actually be the very first of 98 Sea Harriers produced, and was used in test trials before being loaned out to 800 Squadron during the Falklands conflict. Now, this aircraft will be shot down during a raid on Goose Green Peninsula by 35mm anti-aircraft fire, which did result in the loss of the left wing as it burst into flames, unfortunately, and it would cartwheel into the ground below, and sadly killing the pilot, Lieutenant Nick Taylor. Now, let us have a little look and see what we have. So it is presented in the box in the usual way. Landing gear options, stand, etc., and some details of the aircraft in that flap, but it is no good in the box. We should hopefully maybe just be able to just pull this out, which we can, and we'll get this open. Now, this is an older one, of course, so as I say, if you do like what you see, you will have to hunt on the interwebs to find one of these for yourself. Now, it does come with a limited edition certificate, of course. These are a limited run of, 7,300. So there is quite a number of these, and it does have some details on there as well if you're interested in reading that. All right, let's have a little look at the aircraft. So it does have, it's the usual stand. It is all plastic. There is no metal in the stand whatsoever, and it does set up very nicely. Now we will get this Harrier out. It looks to be brand new, which is really nice. All right, let's have a little look at it in the bare bones before we attach anything to it. All right, what have we got? So you can see some nice details. It is quite a dark sort of sea grey. We will zoom in a fraction, so hopefully you can see some of those details. We'll get some of the lights bouncing off it. It does have a lot of nice details, some beautiful markings on there. A pretty nice looking pilot figure in there. Yeah, overall looks pretty decent. There is some weird, I don't know, so bubbling there, which is strange. I have never had that before. You can see it a little bit there too. It did look pretty brand new in the box. It's not covered in dust or anything like that. That is quite weird. But from a distance, it looks quite nice. But what we'll do is we will set this up because it does not have any the landing gear options in there. So what we will do is we will have to put those in there, won't we? Definitely. All right, we will go off and do that now. We'll be back in just a second. All right, here we have it in flight, of course. So you just had to really put in the small stabilizing wheels on the wingtips there. And then there was just a piece in there and a piece in there for those little small gear bay door covers. And that is job done. There is nothing else to do. This is, yep, as you will display it in flight. Does look pretty nice. And of course, well, in flight, you do want to put it on the stands. So you do the traditional stick it in your stand hole routine in here. If we can just plonk that like that. Just make sure that is on the stand. And this is your cool little Sea Harrier set up on the stand. And I reckon it presents pretty well. It does look pretty tidy. And it is, of course, a bit of an older model as well. I think this is from 2001, so it's nearly 25 years old. So it is quite old, but still holds up pretty reasonably well. All right, what we'll do, though, is we will chuck this on some landing gear, won't we? And we'll be back in just a second. All right, here we are with it set up and wheels down. Obviously, as you can see, it is just a process of putting each piece in their spot. Very straightforward. There was no hassles with in regards to fitment. They went in nicely. That does roll. I'm not sure if that one does because it's quite... Oh, yeah, it does. It was just a little bit stiff a moment ago. but it has loosened up. I don't think these small wheels here, I don't think they roll, no. But overall, it does look very nice and sets up very easily, as I said, and looks pretty cool for your jump jet. These do look very nice. Yeah, I am definitely pretty happy though. We'll see how this Sea Harrier sits on its landing gear, of course. That is the big test, and it sits there perfectly. Not a bad, as I said, not a bad model for something that's over 2 decades old. It does present pretty well and still holds up okay. All right, I will wind up the video though. So don't forget, if you did enjoy what you saw today or enjoyed the video in some sort of way, don't forget to throw me some of those, of course. Always feel free to subscribe to the channel too if you are watching and yet to do that. All right, I will take some happy snaps of this, of course, throw them at the end for those of you that like to look at more detailed photos and not see my grubby fingers all over it as well. Now, sausage finger test, it is not the hugest aircraft. Harriers are not very big, and especially you don't want big aircraft. Well, the British didn't, because their aircraft carriers were quite small, so they needed something quite compact like these Harriers were, and they were a great little aircraft too, very innovative. All right, I will thank you all for watching, of course, and I do appreciate everyone that does drop past the channel to watch. I hope you enjoyed what hit your eyeballs today. All right, everyone, thanks for watching, and you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Cheers.